A torn shirt often lies folded at the back of a drawer, still wearable, still familiar, yet never chosen. Its fabric has thinned where hands once pulled, where time leaned too hard. It carries no voice, no complaint, only creases shaped like memory. People do not throw it away. They also do not wear it again. Because some objects are not broken, they are paused, holding something the body once survived, and the mind quietly avoids remembering that a common object, almost invisible, not loved, not discarded, just quietly present. The shirt enters life without ceremony, bought for need, worn without thought. It rests against the skin during ordinary hours, errands, work days, evenings that feel unimportant at the time. It absorbs sweat, posture, movement. It learns the shape of shoulders. It becomes soft in places where the body leans forward too often. Nothing about it feels emotional at first. Then one day it tears, not dramatically, not all at once. A small rip near the seam, a weakened thread at the elbow, a stretch that never returns to its original form. The shirt is still functional, still recognizable, but something about it has changed. It is no longer neutral. People notice the tear and hesitate. The shirt is folded instead of worn, set aside instead of replaced. It becomes an object that exists in between usefulness and memory, between presence and avoidance. The tear feels personal, even when it shouldn't, as if it appeared during a moment that mattered more than expected. The shirt begins to live differently now. It waits in drawers, hangs behind newer clothes, surfaces only during quiet reorganizations. Its texture feels heavier than its weight. Its tear seems larger when seen in certain light. This is how familiar objects begin to shift, not by becoming extraordinary, but by becoming emotionally specific. The torn shirt becomes a witness to a version of life that no longer feels current. A body that was shaped differently, a time when endurance felt normal, when effort was unacknowledged, when strain blended into routine. The object does nothing to demand attention. It simply remains. And in that remaining, it starts to hold something more than fabric, a subtle recognition that not everything worn through is ready to be replaced. Damage rarely comes from one moment. It arrives through repetition, pressure, and silence. The tear did not begin on the day it became visible. It began much earlier, in small, repeated movements, in the way the shoulders hunched forward again and again, in the arms lifted without rest, in days stretched too long, bodies asked to perform without pause. Fabric weakens where life presses most, at the seams that hold weight, at the places expected to bend but never break. The shirt learned this pressure gradually. It adapted, thinned, adjusted its threads to the rhythm of living. No one noticed, because adaptation looks like survival, or looks like reliability. The tear formed quietly beneath the surface, hidden inside fibers that had already given too much. Often, the shirt was worn during moments that required composure, during conversations that demanded politeness instead of honesty, during work that asked for consistency rather than care, during days when rest felt undeserved. It absorbed the posture of endurance. Objects worn during difficult periods do not just witness events. They collect atmospheres. They remember tension in the body long after the body forgets. The tear appears later, but it belongs to an earlier time, a time when pressure felt normal, when exhaustion was explained away, when discomfort was folded neatly into routine. This is how emotional weight enters objects, not through dramatic moments, but through sustained neglect of the self. The shirt does not record the story in images. It records in strain. By the time the tear is seen, the damage is already complete. And that is often why the object feels difficult to let go of. because throwing it away feels like denying the effort that caused the damage. As if discarding the shirt might erase the quiet endurance that once lived inside it. Memory does not live only in the mind. It settles where touch and repetition meet. The human mind is efficient. It releases details to survive. But the body remembers through sensation, and objects through proximity. A shirt worn repeatedly becomes part of the body's extended memory. It shares warmth, movement, tension. It is present during moments the mind later edits or softens. Psychologically, objects become anchors. They store emotional residue, not because they feel, but because they remain unchanged while people move on. The torn shirt holds a version of time that feels unresolved. It exists outside narrative. No beginning, no clear ending. When people see it, they do not remember specific events. They feel a mood, a density, a subtle contraction in the chest. This happens because meaning attaches itself to consistency. The shirt was there every day, during effort, during waiting, during moments that felt too small to matter, but added up. The tear interrupts that consistency. It marks a limit. Psychologically, this creates conflict. The object reflects vulnerability without language. It suggests that endurance had a cost, that something wore thin before anyone noticed. This is uncomfortable knowledge. So the shirt is kept, but not engaged with. Stored, but not repaired. Remembered, but not spoken about. The mind avoids processing what feels ambiguous. The shirt represents effort without recognition, pain without validation, time spent holding things together quietly. Objects like this become emotional containers because they do not ask questions. They simply hold the evidence. And evidence, when unacknowledged, has weight. Some objects are not painful. They are honest, and honesty is harder. People avoid the torn shirt not because it hurts, but because it reveals. Opening the drawer brings a moment of pause, a glance, a thought redirected. It is easier to reach for something newer, something intact, something that does not carry implications. The shirt represents a period when care for the self was delayed, when needs were postponed, when durability was mistaken for strength. To look at it too closely would invite questions that feel unnecessary, disruptive. Why was this worn for so long? Why wasn't it replaced sooner? Why did effort feel like obligation? Avoidance is not denial. It is protection from complexity. The mind resists objects that reflect imbalance, not because the past was unbearable, but because it was quietly unequal. The shirt does not accuse. It does not dramatize. It simply exists as proof that endurance once replaced choice. And so it stays folded, out of rotation, out of conversation. This is how many people manage unresolved experiences, not by forgetting, but by compartmentalizing, by allowing objects to hold what the mind prefers not to articulate. The torn shirt becomes a boundary between who someone was and who they needed to become. Avoidance keeps life moving forward, but it also keeps certain truths untouched. Awareness arrives quietly, without demand, without resolution. One day, the shirt is unfolded slowly, not with urgency, just attention. Fingers trace the tear. Notice how clean it is, how precise. There is no rush to fix it, no sudden grief, just recognition. The realization is small, but grounding. This object stayed during a time that required more than was given. It absorbed effort that went unacknowledged. This moment is not about blame. It is about clarity. The shirt becomes understandable, not as a failure, but as evidence of survival. Awareness does not ask for change. It asks for honesty. The tear no longer feels embarrassing. It feels descriptive, a marker of limits, of capacity reached. In this moment, the object shifts roles, from silent witness to quiet mirror. Nothing is resolved. Nothing is repaired. But the meaning settles differently. The shirt no longer feels heavy. It feels specific, and specificity softens weight. Some things are not meant to return to use. They are meant to remain understood. The torn shirt may stay in the drawer, or it may finally be released. The outcome is less important than the relationship. It no longer needs to be avoided. It no longer holds unspoken tension. Its tear is not a flaw. It is a record of time spent enduring, of effort given quietly, of a self that adapted when it had to. Integration does not mean wearing it again. It means allowing its story to exist without resistance. Objects like this teach something subtle. That wear is not weakness, and damage is not failure. They remind people that survival often looks ordinary, uncelebrated, folded away. The shirt remains what it has always been, fabric and thread. But its meaning has softened. It is no longer a reminder of neglect. It is a reminder of capacity. And capacity, once recognized, does not demand repetition. The object rests. The memory rests. Not healed, but acknowledged. And sometimes that is enough.